Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning for our loan data coffee talk. My name is Sean O'Brien, the president of QuickRate, and more importantly, I am pleased to be joined by David Littleton. David, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. I'm David Littleton. Work with IntelliCredit as the Director of Data Analytics and Product Management. So a lot of the software tools that we'll look at today, I'm a critical piece in both the design and implementation of those. So happy to be here.
Thank you, David. And David did not mention the last item on his resume there. He is also the UVA Quidditch coach. So we're very proud of David. He not only was an accomplished Quidditch player during his time at UVA, but more recently coached the current UVA team to the Final Four this year. David, anything you want to share on the success of the Quidditch team this year at UVA?
Yeah, I mean, we went to the Final Four. It was a very fun experience. The team is a little bit unique in the sense that we have a couple of veteran stars and then a lot of rookies. So we kind of overperformed based on our roster composition. So happy for the result and hope that everyone is interested in or appreciates this little personal aside.
And for those of you who don't know, David, maybe you can explain. Most people would associate Quidditch with the Harry Potter books, but if you want to talk a little bit about how many schools actually compete in this across the country now.
Sure. I don't have an exact number, but I'd say around 75 or so. Harvard won the national championship. This happened a few weeks ago, early April or mid-April. But yeah, so around 75 schools. UVA is consistently one of the top schools, and again, so a top four finish. We're very proud of that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, more to come in future coffee talks about next year's Quidditch team. But for today, we'll keep moving on. And again, that's David there. I should have had the arrow up there sooner. Sorry about that. We appreciate you joining the coffee talk again. I think we've had so much success with our Cecil coffee talks. We really wanted to try to replicate that format in a little bit different way. In the same way we want to continue to increase the education around the analyzer, we also just kind of wanted to make it, a way to come to life and allow you to kind of grow and learn more about it through these presentations. So as always, hit the Q&A box in the chat feature and we'll take any questions you might have. Again, I think what I believe quite strongly is the tool we're building here at IntelliCredit, in particular, the portfolio analyzer, really can assist institutions a number of different ways. And I think, oftentimes, we get inundated with product ideas or introductions. And so, our belief was, hey, we're going to be willing to demonstrate this to you, where we're going to be willing to demo it, be willing to give you a free trial, because again, we really think there's benefits to banks using a tool like IntelliCredit. Just a reminder, IntelliCredit continues to grow. We just got started a few years ago, really from scratch. David, as he mentioned, was a part of that initial team of 3 that came and joined us to build what is now IntelliCredit. We've got 75 active clients in 27 states. Last year, we conducted over 102 loan reviews and are on pace to continue to grow that this year. But more importantly, when we started IntelliCredit, it was really with this design to build a product that could kind of complement what we do in quick analytics from the call report level and come from the bottom up with your loan level and have a meet in the middle and really give you a complete picture of your loan portfolio. And so I'm going to turn it over to David because he knows much more about this than I do. But David, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, do you want me to take the screen as well?
Sure, I will give this to you.
Okay, so yeah, thanks, Sean. So why loan data analytics? Obviously, we all deal with loan portfolio data and utilize it for various purposes, primarily internal, board reporting and management reporting and so forth. But it's also important as individuals to understand the data and what's happening in the loan portfolio, because the loan portfolio is your DNA, and understanding who your bank is and who you've been and how you got to where you are today, all through data is critically important today and always, truly. And what we'll show today in the IntelliCredit platform, the portfolio analyzer specifically, is how you can use the interactive and customizable reports in the tool to transition from not only the what that's on the page and on the report that you're looking at, but quickly transition down into the why. Like I mentioned a moment ago, of where were we and how did we get to where we are today. And understanding these things on a deep level is important for interacting and having conversations with regulators or even other entities related to the bank, because being able to point out a potential issue and drill into the why and understand what the details of what's going on there through the data, of course, is critical to facilitating and lubricating conversations with regulators, and really, warding off concerns that may be present on a superficial level, but less of a concern when you get into the details. So first, we want to talk about IntelliCredit and this platform and what it really means to be part of the platform. And we just really want to emphasize how easy it is to get up and running on the platform. Really, we just take your loan portfolio data in Excel format that you likely already are familiar with or have in your possession, and you just send that to us. We do all the mapping and so forth. And then you can get a lot of instant value just from that Excel formatted loan portfolio data. So like I said, you send us your loan data file, we map it in, and we'll have a training session, and that's really it. You're off to the races, and you're ready to glean insights and value from that data using the IntelliCredit platform. So let's talk about the first look, or the day one value that you can get from IntelliCredit with, as soon as your data is uploaded, what reports are available and what things can you see. So I'll pivot over here to the analyzer. So this is the IntelliCredit platform. So it's a web-based portal where we have all of these customizable and interactive reports and so forth. And so I'll click through some of the reports that every bank gets on day one on the platform. So we have this credit overview where you can see summary information about the portfolio compared to a selected prior period. And you can select any comparison period that you would like. And then you can easily see the change that's happening in the portfolio between the two periods. So you can see the change in loan count, the change in total balance outstanding, balances in each of your risk buckets, including non-accrual and past due. And if I wanted to just see where we get this net plus 27 loans, for example, I can click on that 27 figure and we get a breakdown here. So here we have no loans that were removed from the portfolio between the two selected periods. And then we have, as you can see, 27 loans added. And here's a quick list of all of those 27 loans, very easy to see. Or I see an increase in classified loans, $2 million. I can click on that and get a breakdown of where that change is coming from. We see 2.5 million were added to classified, and $500,000 were removed, specifically upgraded. And I can see exactly which loans those were. So one loan got moved from what looks like substandard into special mention in this case. So as you can see, it's very easy. This is a perfect report to see, like I mentioned a moment ago, where we were, where we are now, and how we got there, just through a point and click into the interactive report. Some more reports here, this loan quality indicators. These are showing some risk-based metrics in the portfolio, including growth rate, special mention, or percentage in each of the categories that are currently special mention by balance in this case. We can also choose exposure if we would like to. Classified percentage that are currently non-accrual or currently past due. And this is showing based on FFIEC code. But you can choose any data point that you have available to stratify here. So if I pick another one, for example, I could do this broken down by loan officer. I could do the same report broken down by LTV, and so forth. And you can add this list that we have here, you can add to this list as well. So we have various ways to stratify the portfolio in addition to the default FFIEC code that we're displaying here.
Hey, David, if I could just stop you for a second. And so I think that's a really good point to make, right? David's showing you what's immediately available to you on day one. But I think what's also important to note is we're here to work with you, because as you're seeing David go through these, you might be starting to think, and as he pointed out, well, we classify things differently or code things differently, or we have different fields in our data sets. And David and our team will work with you to make sure everything or anything you have in your system today, we can make come to life in the analyzer. And so again, I think one of the points of these coffee talks and our ability to kind of work with you over time is that it's easy to get you started, but we're here also to continue to nurture, you know, and educate you so that increasingly each month you'll become more familiar with the tool, and also be able to, you know, again, increase what you see or reports that you might want to do. So sorry, David, I'll just go back to being quiet.
No, I appreciate the inputs. Yeah, so this next report here is a concentration report where we just give you the breakdown of percentage of either risk-based capital or tier 1 capital and loan loss reserve over time in the portfolio. And so I'm showing the total portfolio here, but I can do easily reference regulatory CRE. I can even include 1E1 if I would like to in this analysis. So we can clearly see in this bank that, you know, the CRE concentrations have been steadily going up over time, and that's easy to reference. And then all of these values, again, are easily drill downable, and I can click into any of these cells to see exactly which loans are behind that metric that I've clicked on. And then we give you top borrower and top relationship reports. Again, all of this is just immediately available in the system. A risk grade distribution table showing you the distribution of balances by risk and by selected category. And again, you can have any category listed here, as well as risk grade migrations showing you how the distribution of risk in the portfolio has changed over time. So if I go to this visual here, I can see very easily that we had a little bit of change in the portfolio between the two selected dates. I'll choose two different dates just to get an even more stark difference. And this is showing clearly the total portfolio distribution. But what you can do very, very easily is you can filter this down to any additional subset of the portfolio. So if I duplicate this report, I'll have one below, but I'm going to raise it up to be side by side if I can. I believe I can if I just select this here. All right, we'll work with it being top and bottom for now. Or maybe I can do this. We'll just work with it being top and bottom. That's okay. So what you can do is, instead of showing total portfolio, I can easily show what's my risk grade distribution for just my non-owner occupied CRE loans. And then it has obviously a very different distribution and different migration. Or I can add in my owner occupied CRE loans. And here are those two combined, owner occupied and non-owner occupied. So in addition to all of these reports that are showing analysis on the total portfolio level, it's very, very easy to drill into a specific concentration that your bank may have. And of course, these examples are just two that I provided. But again, any data point that you have available in your loan portfolio data can be utilized in the system and to identify those concentrations. Another one, for example, if I show this risk grade distribution by loan officer, I can do the same thing to show what's the risk grade distribution for new originations by a loan officer, for example, and I can see what that breakdown is. And I think my new originations are defined as the last 6 months, I believe. But I can see all these breakdowns, not only for the total portfolio, but for any specific concentration that you have concern over in your portfolio, including, of course, CRE categories, specific industries, geographic concentrations, or just new originations or even upcoming maturities and so on and so forth.
David, I'm gonna jump in again real quick. So
Yep.
again, for many of you on the call today are are CECL users. A lot of times we are looking for ideas or additional information about maybe what we would put in a Q factor. I think what having this type of granular data is really what ultimately in some ways should impact our Q factors, right? Ability to spot changes beforehand, as David pointed out, maybe in risk grade distributions or just a changing component of our portfolio, would probably be a good indication that a change to a Q factor might be important. On the other hand, this can also support why you might keep a reserve lower or why things haven't changed, because you can demonstrate with facts and figures that the portfolio is better than it was, say, a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or hasn't changed, and therefore we're not changing things. And so I think the ability to have the immediate access to all of your credit information can play a number of different roles for you. But again, I think the more we get into this, the more you can see that there's opportunities to use this in a number of different ways in your bank. All right, back to you, David.
Yep. Yeah, so zooming through these last few reports, we give you more information about past due balances in the portfolio, non-pass loans, including the change that's happening in classified, special mention, and even weak pass categories. And again, you have the same type of breakdown where I see a $3 million increase in weak pass, and I get the story behind that, because an increase in weak pass could mean either loans got there through downgrades or through upgrades, right? So understanding how we got there is an important piece of that weak pass balance change, or understanding that weak pass balance change. And then we have delinquent loans, where you can easily see all the loans that are currently past due. We can view pricing for risk information, breaking down the weighted average interest rate within each risk grade and category, and then some simple vintage analysis where we give you information about your portfolio by origination year. So those are all of the IntelliCredit standard reports that are obviously very easily customizable and interactive, but are there for you on day one when you load your data in. The last piece of this that I'll highlight is getting from these interactive and customizable pages is very, very easy. You just hit this generate report button in the header, and all these reports, including any customizations you may have made, will be easily exportable. So I'll just create a cover page and call this the IntelliCredit report, just for example. Then I'll hit download report, and I'll show you what this very simple extract looks like. And in my downloads folder, and here we are. So to get to this report took me next to zero work as a user. We just loaded in the data, which takes a matter of seconds, and then we have this export, which also took a matter of seconds. And obviously you can go through and make additional reports that I'll get into in just a moment, and you can make comments and customizations and so forth. But it's really, really easy in IntelliCredit to glean value without a lot of A, implementation effort of the tool, or B, maintenance and ongoing data loads. All of that is very, very simple. And we just wanted to highlight the ways in which you can get that very easy value.
David, I'm gonna raise my hand again and jump in. And
Sure.
we do have a question. Could you run the report, run that report for one loan officer?
Oh, yes, definitely. So what you can do is in the header here, we have filters, and I actually was prepared for this question. So I have a filter already created for Samantha Powell, Sam Powell. So what I can do is I can just hit add on or include on this filter. So this is going to filter all this analysis down to that singular loan officer. So now we have this credit overview, which we covered a moment ago for the total portfolio, but now it's only for Samantha Powell. And this filter is going to be applied as I click through all these loans. So you can see this loan officer has 285 loans in the portfolio. So here's the breakdown for just this loan officer across all these reports that we just looked at. And if I were to export this report, it would again export based on just Samantha Powell's loans. So yes, all of that is very, very easily done based on the data that you have. The way that I set this up was just through a very simple filter interface that said, show me all the loans where the loan officer is Samantha Powell. And I hit apply or save. And that filtered all the loans down. And again, as you can imagine, this can be done not only for a loan officer, but for any data field in the system. And you can have a very simple filter such as this, or you can have a filter that has multiple filter options, such as I could show loans only over a certain balance. I could show only loans that are newly originated or upcoming maturities, and or what have you. You're only limited by your data and your imagination when it comes to these filters. So yeah, it's very, very easy to drill into a specific loan officer and get all the same analysis.
Great. And then I want to follow that up is this is a perfect example of, again, what we, encourage our banks to do is share with us reports that you might be currently running or having your core run that you might use in loan committee, that you might use to prepare board reports. Again, we want to work with you to try to, again, make that process easier for you, hopefully improve those reports. But I think, we're focusing today on how easy it is to get started. But once you're started, we're going to meet with you, monthly during that trial period, if you want to, again, talk about what you have, what reports you may want to run, what data you might want to add, and try to assist in creating whatever it is you're looking for and teach you how to do that. So that, again, over time, you'll become, a master user of this. But we understand that that all takes time, and that's why we're leaning forward with trials, because these are the types of things we want to be able to not only show you, but also help get incorporated into your process. And so we had a question come in on the trial period. So at the end, we'll talk about it. But essentially, what we're offering is a 6-month free trial to use in the analyzer and start to build these types of reports for you and anybody who's interested. We understand that nothing happens overnight, but we also don't want we believe in the value of this product, and so we're willing to invest the time with you to work and show you how it can benefit you before you actually have to subscribe. So again, go ahead, David. I'll jump back here, and I'm sure in a little bit, but for now I'll be quiet.
Yeah. So the next portion of this is just some examples of client scenarios where I actually went in and lifted these reports that we're about to show that were created by existing clients that we have. And these are all reports that were either created using our custom reporting tools or reports that are similar to ones we just looked at, but with heavy customizations built into them. So I have 5 examples here where I'll pivot back over into the tool. So I'll take this time to highlight one feature in the application, and that is the to Sean, do you mind muting your
Yeah.
microphone? And that is the ability to create multiple layouts here, which we're not going to get into the mechanics of today. But you'll see this is the standard reports. And I can click on this header and I have multiple versions of this layout saved. We call them templates. And so one that I have prepared today is this one here, where you can see once I select this, we have a new set of reports here to look at. So the first report that I've lifted from one of our clients is this new origination pricing chart. So this is a report where we show our pricing for risk table, but narrowed only to new originations. And so you can see the pricing trends within a specific time period of loan originations, in this case being recent, and I think it was 3 or 6 months, something around there. And this is broken down by FFIEC code, but I just want to highlight again, you can show your loan officer pricing tendencies within a specific time period, because of course we know this report could be in the total portfolio can be skewed based on origination year heavily. So controlling a little bit for the origination period allows you to see much more specifically whether the pricing is adhering to the desired practices. You can show this by industry and so forth. I think they had a custom code in here that they were utilizing, so just showing some of the default examples, such as LTV. See what your pricing is by LTV, for example. But I'll just put it back on FFIEC code. And then we have the past due trends for new origination. So loans originated in the past 6 months. How are they doing for past due balances? And in this case, not so well. But this gives you the ability to identify again how those loans originated within a specific period are performing, in addition to their pricing.
Hey, David, can we just drill into that for a second? So again, that's something a user can define for themselves. So in this case, you defined it as 6 months, but a user could define it for whatever period of time on any subset of loans or however they'd want.
Yep. So yep, you can do origination date within the past X number of days, months, years. All of that is completely up to the user.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. Then the next one here is a portfolio synopsis report where we're showing the loan count, balance outstanding, exposure, the average loan balance, the weighted average LTV, weighted average interest rate, the weighted average term remaining based in years, the average days past due, and the average risk grade. With it over time in the portfolio. So you'll see I have a number of dates selected here. The dates that you select are all unique to you. Obviously, this data is a few years old at this point, but you get the idea. But this allows you to easily see how all of these key metrics are changing over time in the portfolio. And of course, when you upload new data, all of that is available immediately and very easy to see. Next to this, we have the risk grade migration chart that we looked at earlier that this specific bank had included here. And there weren't major edits to this one, just that they had multiple dates selected. So you can have more than just 2 dates selected in this migration. And you can always hover over the legend here to see exactly which date and what the migration looked like, but a pretty interesting way to view the migration of risk distribution in your portfolio.
And I would add sorry, David, for our CECL users, like this to me is a great report to supplement our Q factors, right? So, obviously with the call report data and quick analytics, we have, the fact that for many of you, you've really had benign credit experience. Well, this really kind of is like the confirmation of that potentially, right? That you can just show how good your portfolio is. Or say, for instance, as David touched on earlier, if you have a highly concentrated portfolio and you need to demonstrate to either your board, an auditor or a regulator, how pristine, despite the concentration, how pristine the subset is within your portfolio, this is going to give you the real data. It's going to give you the facts that you need. It's no longer, it's not your opinion, it's your fact. And again, can be tremendously powerful when it's this easily available to you to, again, as we talk about, understand your DNA, but really is, I think David Ruffin will talk a lot about in presentations, writing your credit script, right? This is the verbiage for our credit script, because it's telling whoever's looking at it, not only do I believe I have a very pristine portfolio, I can show you it's been this way and it's been this way over time. And having that at your disposal is tremendously powerful.
And just to illustrate how easy it is to configure something like this. So let's say that I want to, as Sean is alluding to, show these metrics at the total portfolio level, but juxtaposed with some sort of concentration that I have. What I can do is very easily duplicate this report. I'm going to send this down to its own row and configure this layout a little bit. So now we have a second table that's exactly the same down below. And what I can do is, let's say I have a CRE concentration. I can click on these filters, and now I have the same formatted report here, where it's the total portfolio above, and then my CRE portfolio below. And I can, of course, edit the title here and reference this and see, CRE, just for example here. So now it's very easy to go into whatever concentration you have very, very quickly, very easily, and see how that specific concentration may be performing in and of itself, but also compared to the portfolio as a whole. And you could do that as many times as you would like, and with as many various concentrations as you would like. And as we've discussed throughout this morning, the ways in which you can segment and drill down into the data is only limited by, again, your imagination and your data itself. So very powerful tool here with this portfolio synopsis. The next one I have here is one from a very old client that we have, is a watch list report, where we're showing the risk grade change table, where we can keep an eye on any key changes that are happening in each of these risk categories. This is a report that we showed just a little bit earlier. And then we show a breakdown of all of those non-pass loans broken down by loan officer, where we can see information about each of those notes to each of those loan officers, including the total borrower exposure of the borrower whose note is obviously non-pass, as well as the ability to upload documentation to help track these loans, specifically maybe what may be a workout plan or some sort of key communication from the borrower, as well as the ability to add comments to this table. So this, for this bank in particular, is a key way in which they manage their watch list loans. Next is a simple top relationships report. So I have this configured just to show the top 10 relationships in this portfolio, showing the balance of that borrower, the percentage balance in the portfolio of that relationship, as well as the cumulative percentage of balance. So we can see the top 10 relationships in this portfolio make up 24% of the portfolio's balances. And then the percentage or the concentration of capital for each relationship as well, along with the cumulative concentration of capital. So we show 453% or 54% of tier 1 capital and loan loss reserve for these aggregate top 10 relationships in this portfolio. And then we give a breakdown of exactly all those loans in each of those top 10 relationships down here below.
David, I'm going to jump in again. Just another practical example again. So we obviously use the tool when we're doing loan reviews for picking a sample. But again, I think you can think about it for, maybe what you're doing on internal reviews or annual reviews, the ability to be able to group by relationships and then make sure, you're up to date in annual reviews and getting financials and just information on your key relationships and borrowers. Again, a very easy way to assist in managing that, through the analyzer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is obviously a report that I think every bank creates in one form or fashion, and this is just the very easy and quick way that IntelliCredit has it configured here, or this specific bank, I should say, has it configured. And then lastly, we have a very simple upcoming maturities report, which is simply a list of all the loans that are upcoming for maturity. I think in the, let's see, how is this configured? It's upcoming maturities within the next 6 months, and it's sorted down by the ones that are coming up the soonest. And you can configure this report not only to be for maturity date, but you could configure this to be for a repricing date, or any other key metric. Obviously, repricing and maturity being two of the most important. But again, just a very quick and easy report to build using the IntelliCredit tools here. Sean, anything to add about this one?
No, I think, again, I think that's a good, I guess I do have something to say. It is a good example of, again, I know where I'm a director in a small community bank and we're using the analyzer, like, for our loan committee, this just makes things a lot easier to, rather than, getting what we did from the core, it's just a more interactive way for our team to have more information for that meeting, as well as what we're sharing with the board. I know for a lot of us, a lot of times our board reports tend to be a collection of things that regulators have asked or indicated that they want the board to see. And that's sometimes an ongoing and very unique list. And, the analyzer just really gives you the ability to tailor, however you communicate within your institution about your portfolio. We just think it not only gives you the ability to do it in a better way, but the reality is, again, you can have as many users on the platform as you'd like, and so you can do much more things interactively without having to generate a lot of paper if you don't want to, right? You can do all this through the screens, but then always go to a hard copy if you need it.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So while Sean was talking there, I just exported that report, or this group of client example reports, again, to PDF, just to illustrate how easy it is to not only get the IntelliCredit standard reports that, again, every bank gets from day one, but any totally custom report or report format or layout, also very, very easy to convert from the interactive and web-based versions into the polished hard copy. Okay. So we've obviously alluded to this several times, but we are offering a free trial to registrants on this coffee talk. The process, as laid out earlier, is, again, very, very simple. We of course just get an NDA and so forth, and we take your data and we'll load it all in. We do all of the setup work. We just, again, need the Excel loan data file from you, and then we conduct training, and the training will go into a lot more of the detailed features of the app and how to do some of these custom reports and so forth. But we really want to put our money where our mouth is a little bit with showing you how easy this is and how much value you can gain from very, very little effort on your end. This is another layout of what the setup process looks like. You provide the files, we do most of the work, and then you just add data elements and review all of the information, and then we have ongoing active client support. So throughout the 6-month period, we have what we call a shared administration period, where we're doing what Sean alluded to, which is help you build some reports that you would like to replicate in IntelliCredit, help you add data points, understand your portfolio's data. We iterate as much as you would like on data points and on reporting and so forth. So we have a very active client support process once you get onboarded. So we have a couple of previous videos that are available at the link here. One with Zane Smith from American Bank. He was the creator of one of the reports that I lifted, and then Mitch Moss from Outdoor Bank. His bank not only uses the portfolio analyzer, but also uses the IntelliCredit loan review tool, which we didn't cover at all today, but to do loan reviews with their internal loan review department at Outdoor Bank. If you're interested in that, check out that video. And then I know we've had a couple questions as we've been talking, but Any more questions? Now's the time to ask, and as they come in, I'm sure Sean will shout them out, or maybe I will as well.
Yep. Actually, we got one coming for vendor due diligence. Do you have a SOC 2? We do. So we just actually completed our most recent one this week and got the results. And so, yeah, we, as part of our diligence with you, will share that SOC 2 with you. And so, again, I think, as David indicated, the shared administration period is really, in our minds, critical to this trial, because each month you're going to get more familiar with your data. You're going to get more familiar, with the analyzer. And that's not, and obviously the customer support goes on, into your subscription. But what we really want to do is play an active role, in making sure when you're making the determination whether to move forward or not, you have a really good understanding of what the tool can do for you. And again, we believe you'll find that to be worth the value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so kind of just summarizing IntelliCredit and how what we talked about today fits within the IntelliCredit offerings. So you'll see here in the center, the portfolio analyzer. That's what we covered today. What we didn't cover today is the annual review software tool that actually we just turn on as a complimentary add-on to the portfolio analyzer, which is a simple tool that allows you to complete annual reviews in the IntelliCredit system. And then training is available for that, should we get to that point. And then the Smart Loan Review, which I mentioned, is a software tool for internal loan review departments that Mitch Moss utilizes in that video that I mentioned a moment ago. And then, of course, IntelliCredit offers a third-party loan review service where we utilize a very seasoned set of credit and documentation experts to do documentation and credit reviews across the country. Really, we're in 30-some states doing loan review, and that's a very robust function in the IntelliCredit platform, and that's also tech-enabled and so forth. And if you're interested in that, feel free to reach out as well. So, Sean, I think I'll hand it back over to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Or you want me to keep it?
You can keep it rather than. And so again, just a reminder, increasingly we've tried to make available, videos, kind of a library of those. You can, check out our YouTube channel. For those of you, you may have noticed on our Cecil page, we have a new tab for a knowledge base. We do have a link to the YouTube videos there as well. On the next slide, again, you can just kind of see some of the upcoming events. Next week, Steve Huntington and I will just kind of go through some of the additional tools available in Quick Analytics on a webinar there. David Ruffin and I will be back on May 21st with the first quarter results from the QCBI data. So we'll have a webinar on that. And then obviously at the end of the month on the next slide, you'll see we'll be back for our coffee talks. Our plan here with the loan data coffee talks will probably be back in late June, early July. So certainly on the next couple of webinars, we'll have those dates established. Certainly in the interim, please reach out to us if you'd like to get a demo for yourself. If you'd like to, pursue the 6-month trial, we'd love to have you. And certainly if there's any suggestions on reports that you're currently running, if you'd like us to demonstrate those in a future coffee talk, just let us know. But again, we really want to try to, as best we can, demonstrate how easy the tool is to use, show you what we think, how much value it can bring to you, and take some of the mystery out of what it would take to really get started and become a proficient user of your own data. And that's what we really want to do, is we want to make you masters of your own data. David, any final comments before we let everybody have their day?
Nope, just appreciate everyone being here. Of course, if you want more information, you can of course email info@quickrate.com or info@intellicredit.com, either one. Or myself directly if you would like, david.littleton@intellicredit.com. Again, very grateful for everyone who joined, and go Who's.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us again today. We really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye now.